Welcome to the Jose Aliaga Show. Today we have an exciting guest. As you know, we have this election coming up on November 8th, and for that reason we have our exciting guests today. Today my exciting guest is Jonathan Ettinger, which is a political consultant, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about, from different perspectives, the CNN, Fox News, NBC, ABC, all that. What's going on with the election? He's going to give us a good inside information about what's going on. How you doing, Jonathan?
I'm good. Jose.
Jonathan
How are
Ettinger.
you?
Nice to see you. Last time we went here, we were talking about our Republican primary and the Democrat primary.
Yeah, and the conventions, yeah.
Yeah, and basically, you, at that time, you said that Bernie and Hillary have, chance. We have some chance, but at the Republican, though, you said that Donald Trump didn't have any chance.
Well, there were still quite a few primaries to go.
Mm-hmm.
It was still unclear what was going to happen at the convention. Okay. And all I can say is I'm sorry, and I had nothing to do with what happened. So.
Okay. All right, but you didn't give any chance because he didn't have the political experience, any public
I can't believe,
service.
based on how he campaigned, how he behaved during all those debates, that people actually voted for that. I don't know who these people are.
Okay, but do you think people were saying we are tired to see the same political speech, political correctness, and we want somebody that different, then bring the business perspective? He's a businessman. And
well, there might be some of that.
He says the truth, how it is, and we want to go for someone to tell how it is. People believe that he's honest.
Well, there's telling it like it is, and then there's going too far.
Okay.
I personally don't see the appeal. I think, honestly, one of the biggest casualties in this election was how many candidates they had for the Republican primary in the start.
Okay.
And that helped. Between that and the actual election rules themselves, that's what helped Trump to move up. It's not like Trump actually had an actual majority in all these states. He tended to have more of a minor plurality.
So I had the feeling that you don't support Donald Trump. So you're going to be supporting Hillary Clinton?
No.
No? What's wrong with Hillary?
Where do you want to start? Hey, I believe in less government, individual rights, individual freedom. None of that lines up with Hillary Clinton whatsoever.
So if Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are no choices, so are you voting?
I will be voting.
All right.
And personally, I support Gary Johnson and the Libertarian Party.
Okay.
Mind you, also on ballot, there's Darrell Castle and the Constitution Party. In Michigan, they're still listed as the U.S. Taxpayers Party.
Okay.
That's to do with the Secretary of State office. Don't get me started.
All right.
And there's also Jill Stein in the Green Party. Personally, I think Bernie supporters should be looking at Jill Stein. She probably lines up more with what they want and what they believe than what Hillary does.
What party is this?
The Green Party.
The Green Party is more like socialist, is what you're saying now.
I wouldn't necessarily go that far, but closer.
Okay, closer.
Yeah.
All right. So those are the choices that you believe are better than Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton.
Well, I just want to state that there are options. Personally, I think that Johnson's a much better choice. I think Castle's a slightly better choice.
Why he's a better choice?
Well, how about this? Let me summarize what we're seeing out of the campaign from the major two candidates, okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They both give speeches saying a bunch of vague platitudes to appeal to whichever group they're talking to at the moment. No specifics, nothing you can really hold them to, just generalities to appeal to voters. And then they spend the rest of the time arguing and fighting with each other, attacking each other.
Well, I did hear Donald Trump some specifics, because, or maybe it's because I follow him a lot, and okay. But, okay, so continue, sorry.
Oh, no, overall, they're just the same plain old generic campaigns. Okay, which one of them is actually going to have a sane and sensible foreign policy? Which one of them is actually talking about reducing the debt or reducing the size of government? Which one of them is even mentioning the Constitution and adhering to the limitations of government?
Actually, Trump says that would make a good point. He was saying why the United States is giving USA money to several countries in the world, some of them that hate America. Why in our budget we have to allocate taxpayer money to give money to those people?
But that's just a generic point about foreign aid.
Okay, no, he says why we need to put our armies, Air Force, to protect Japan, Germany for free. Why I think that's not a good deal, he says. He has a question. That's a good deal? Helping all those countries protect for Army, Air Force, and Navy, Japan, Germany for free.
No.
He doesn't think it's a good deal.
Those come down to the treaties that we've signed with them years ago. Hey, I'm not necessarily,
Right.
personally, I would love to pull back our military to what we need and put defending America first.
Right.
But when he says it, is he actually going to do it? Do you have any reason to actually believe him? It's pretty much on par with the whole let's build a wall and Mexico's going to pay for it thing. According to Vicente Fox,
Well,
no.
he's a former president of Mexico. I mean, he's nothing to do with that.
Well, he may be the former president, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have some kind of weight in that country.
Well, I mean, it's like if Bill Clinton says something
Okay.
or Jimmy Carter says something. I mean,
Then
But
show
okay.
me where the current president has said, yes, we're totally going to do that. We're with you, America. I'm going to build you that wall.
It's certainly a disagreement at that, but I do believe that, and get me wrong, I think it's good Mexican people, but I think it have to be a process or something to stop some immigrants that we don't know who they are, some the illegal immigration. I do believe it's bad people out there, drug dealers and trafficking and all that.
There's always going to be problems like that.
Right.
But let me say this, okay?
Well,
we could go for 2 hours talking
Right, right.
about immigration problems and still never reach
Right,
an
but I
actual
never
solution.
Okay, tell me what Gary Johnson's solution for that is, because I don't know.
First off, making it easier for people to come here legally. We need reforms on our current immigration laws.
Okay.
Because half the reason why you have people coming here illegally is because the giant mountains of obstacles they have to go through to get here legally.
Right, but Hillary Clinton wants open borders. Trump don't want open borders. Now, Gary Johnson and Trump are, I guess, in the same view right there, but it's no specifics, yeah.
Well, I don't think Hillary even wants open borders, depending. It depends on particulars.
Okay,
In an absolute sense, open borders would be the correct way to go.
okay,
But that's on the same absolute that says anarchy is the way to go with government. It's the most freedom for individuals, but that doesn't mean it's something we can currently put into practice. Making it easier for people to come and go is closer to open borders, but without being an absolute, we don't care, let it happen philosophy.
Well, you know, it's a process. If somebody wants to bring their family or any member or whatever, it takes several months or years to be able to follow up with the fees. So many people wants to come to America legally. They're paying lawyer fees, all that. Obama, last year, he signed executive order and legalized every single legal immigrant, which didn't pass through because the Supreme Court and so forth canceled all that. But that wasn't the right solution.
No.
No, white people that is no actually, you know, break the law and all that have to boom, suddenly become resident, and all these people that did not break the law and everything have to have a way, you know, waiting for that. I don't think so was fair.
And these are two separate problems. One is about fixing immigration and controlling the border.
Right.
The other is about dealing with the problem we already have here. But
Right.
like I said, honestly,
Yeah, all right.
we could spend 2 hours talking about that topic alone.
Okay,
and
so Gary
still-
Johnson support also do something about it, but no open borders.
Not specifically, no.
Not specifically. Okay.
But I'll tell you what,
Okay.
I'm not here to advocate for a particular candidate.
Okay. Okay.
My main thing I want to get across to people is how voting matters,
Okay.
why voting matters, how much of a difference that can make for people.
Okay.
Now, first and foremost, let's look at this thing historically, okay?
Historically. Okay.
Many states are pretty much a given in the tank for one party or another. It wouldn't even matter who that party's
Okay.
candidate is.
Okay.
For instance, California. I don't think California has gone for a Republican since Reagan in '84. I might be wrong, but I think it's a safe bet. California's already a given for Hillary. Michigan isn't as likely guaranteed, but it's pretty much there. In fact, I was looking over the information on it. The closest margin of difference that there's been in Michigan between the top two presidential candidates since 1968 was with George W. Bush. In 2004, he lost Michigan to John Kerry by barely 3.5%. Mind you, that 3.5% was still 167,000 votes. That year, the Libertarian candidate didn't even have 20,000 votes.
Wow.
But see, ultimately, at the end of the day, we spend so much time talking about Republicans, Democrats, Trump, Clinton. It's all orchestrated to keep you from knowing what your options really are. I mean, I get not liking Trump. I get not liking Clinton. But just because you don't like one doesn't mean you have to vote for the other one. Hillary's basically going to get Michigan, okay? there's only realistically two ways for Trump to win Michigan from her. Either one, all the people who would ordinarily vote Democrat but hate Hillary don't vote for her. And that's not saying they vote for Trump, just not vote for her. Or if Trump comes up with a whole lot of new voters that he gets registered who come out and vote just for him. Neither one is very likely. Overall averages tend to be Hillary's going to carry this state by a 5 to 10% margin easy, no matter what anyone else does.
Michigan.
Yeah.
5%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, we could take that and say, oh, but what about nationally? No. This is why electors matter, and it's not about a national popular. There is one aspect where quote unquote national popular matters, and we'll get to that in a second. But really what it comes down to is understanding that if Hillary's got this state pretty much already, there's very little that can change that. Who do you honestly support? I mean, do you just vote for the Democrat or the Republican, or do you honestly care about this candidate? And I want people to look at these other candidates, understand what these people are saying, know that they're there in the first place and the impact it could have. I mean, it's all over the news how much people can't stand Trump and Clinton. Okay, so look at other candidates, do something about it. And this is the one time where, quote, national popular vote matters, okay? Because I know there's all that talk about the 15% threshold for getting into the debates. The Commission on Presidential Debates, that's Republicans and Democrats together orchestrating it. That's all since Ross Perot's 1992 debates. They don't want anyone else getting involved in ruining their fun, okay?
Okay.
Now the FEC, well, let me back up a second here. You know when you fill out your tax returns and there's that box to check for I want $3 of my tax to go to the Presidential Election Fund? That's the FEC, the Federal Election Commission. Now, based on their established rules, Republicans and Democrats are automatically just guaranteed, and they have open money from that fund that they can take. More recently, candidates have not been taking that money because it also comes with strings of limits on how much you can raise outside and how much you can spend. But officially, Republicans and Democrats don't even have to try. They're just automatically there. Other parties have to get 5 to 25% of the quote unquote national popular vote to qualify for a proportional part of that. The last time you had a candidate who reached that level was Ross Perot, because in 1992 he was an independent, then he formed the Reform Party. What he got in 96 as the Reform Party candidate made Pat Buchanan's 2000 run eligible for those funds. But since then, no one else has met that 5% threshold. So if someone votes for Gary Johnson in Michigan or in California or other states where it's basically guaranteed that one person's getting it and it's almost a waste of time to vote for the other one, that can help those candidates, those parties. That can help change the status of those parties, elevate the discourse. This is what we really need to do, is break the control that Republicans and Democrats have on everything. And you can't do that if you're not willing to stand out and support other candidates. I mean, if you ask the Johnson campaign, they're somewhat competitive, which terms are arguable, in his home state of New Mexico, and also Utah, Alaska, and possibly Washington. Now, even then, in Utah, the biggest concentration of voters in Utah are members of the LDS Church, who by and large have turned away from Trump. This is a state that would easily go 70% Republican no matter what. No, they're moving toward not just Johnson, but even independent candidate Evan McMullin. Now, I personally can't advocate for people in Michigan to vote for McMullin because we're not one of the 11 states where he's on ballot. McMullin can win some electors in some states, enough to deny the 270 to Clinton or Trump. But there's no way he can reach 270 on his own. Johnson is on ballot in all 50 states and has at least a mathematical chance of winning there on his own. But the most likely outcome, basically we've got three. Either Clinton reaches 270, Trump reaches 270, or somebody somewhere gets some electors, stops that from happening, and then it goes to the House of Representatives.
So if nobody get 270 electoral college, it will go to a decision from the House of Representatives.
That's what the Constitution calls for.
Okay.
And when you think about that, I'd say there's a fair chance that they could say not Trump and not Hillary and look at whoever the third option is.
So the House of Representatives can actually find a different option?
Yeah. The way the rules and laws are written is the House looks at the top 3 electoral candidates and chooses from between them. The Senate chooses the VP and only picks among the top 2. But here's where it gets really funny. We have all these laws that say, if Trump were to win Michigan, then the Republican Party's already chosen a slate of electors who will go and vote for Trump. We don't even know who these people are. They're chosen by the party. Most of them are, party people. Yay, look at me, I get to be an elector. Michigan is one of 26 states where the chosen electors are bound to vote for the candidate that the party put forward. However, 24 states don't do that. So when you see on election night of, here's this number, here's this number, technically you can't even assume, even if one of them breaks 270, that that's a given. Because in states where they're not bound, there could be what they call a faithless elector who say a particular state, I won't name one, goes to Trump. But maybe half the electors from that state show up and say, nope, I'm voting for Cruz actually. Or some state that was won by Hillary, and some of the electors show up and say, well, I'm going to vote for Bernie Sanders.
That won't make Hillary the next president of the United States.
I mean, it could happen, so this is exactly what could happen in the Electoral College, which then throws things to the House of Representatives.
Do you think maybe Clinton campaign is, they have smart people working for Clinton campaign, and maybe they say, or better strategy will be just to let Gary Johnson from the Libertarians grow more because he's taking more from Trump. So that will make Hillary to win more easy?
Oh, no, because actually most reports, when you look at the numbers, Johnson pulls more from potential Hillary supporters than Trump supporters. Johnson's doing more damage to Hillary's campaign. That's why you've seen them start to focus on Johnson and talk about, that's why the president himself talked about how voting for a third party is a wasted vote. No, the only wasted vote is voting for a candidate you don't honestly support and you don't honestly believe in. This whole thing of, well, I'm going to vote for Trump to stop Hillary. I'm going to vote for Hillary to stop Trump. No, stop buying into the party nonsense and actually, think for yourself for a minute. Okay.
So you give me a case scenario right now that CNN or NBC or anybody didn't give you before about, if somebody don't reach the 270, which is a possible. It can happen.
Yeah,
because
it's maybe not probable, but it is possible.
There's no problem, but it's a possibility because Gary Johnson is probably scored what, 10% in the polls right now, maybe less. But if he can get New Mexico, which is 5-6 electoral college, which it looks like, because he's a former governor of New Mexico, he may be able to win that state. And you say maybe Utah, maybe.
Or even if Utah went to McMullen instead, that's still enough to throw a wrench into it.
So it's a possibility
10% polling. How reliable is polling, okay? Because personally, I have an issue with statistics and how easily they're manipulated to say what you want them to say. But polling is worse because there's one giant variable involved in polling that isn't involved in other statistics.
Right, I mean,
and that's the human factor.
I mean, no, I understand polling really well. I mean, if you go and do a polling in Detroit and Flint, and they call it Michigan polling show, Hillary's winning, obviously because it's Detroit or Flint. Some people do the polling in Birmingham, Clarkston area, it's different outcome. Trump is winning. So I understand what you're saying. So it's not really the poll because most people didn't get a phone call or asking, hey, can you please let me know who you voted for?
And even the ones who did aren't necessarily being honest with what they're saying.
Right.
Again, that's the human factor.
Okay, so according to your statistics, you says that when a third party ran, the closest they got was in 92?
Yeah, a third-party candidate, that's because Ross Perot, self-financed, came in as an independent, and he grabbed 20% of the, quote, popular vote nationally.
And that vote was Republican vote. A lot of people believe...
I can't say for sure. And even that goes back into how we run our elections and whether or not, we should require a win by majority. When Bill Clinton won in that 92 race, he only had a small plurality vote. He didn't have 50% plus one of Michigan's vote. He just had more than Bush. I mean, there's a lot of things with elections that we should be changing, because currently the way things are orchestrated, the Republicans and Democrats have rigged almost everything to work to their own benefit. And the people, the voters, are the ones who are losing. I mean, most people don't even know about a faithless elector. They don't know that the last time a faithless elector cast a ballot was 2004, when you had a guy from Minnesota cast it for John Edwards instead of John Kerry. Or the fact that in 1972, the very first libertarian presidential candidate actually got one electoral vote because of a faithless elector who was otherwise pledged to Nixon. They weren't on ballot basically anywhere that year. That guy didn't even have 4,000 votes total in the entire country, yet he got an electoral vote because one elector said, no, this is who I'm voting for. This is what I'm doing. People, it's like having a fully informed jury. People need to know what their options actually are, really understand things and demand change, not just accept what they're told and go with the system that they're given.
Okay, well, I mean, since I think that 1848 or before 48 was the last time there was a presidential candidate who won that didn't belong to either Republican or Democrat, was the Whig Party. Since then, we don't have any.
Yeah, because that was back before the Republicans were really even established yet.
The general that was in the Mexican War, I remember his name right now. But
now, keep in mind though, the last time a candidate on ballot actually won states and won electors that way was George McGovern, Wallace, back in 1968. It can be done. It depends on who it is, where they campaign, and where their strengths are.
So what happened with him?
Oh, I mean, he still lost, but his figures, though, let's see, where do I have this? Yeah. He got 332,000 votes in Michigan, okay, whereas that year, the margin of victory for Johnson was only 223. So assuming those votes had gone to Johnson, it would have been padded. Assuming they'd gone the other way, that would have been different.
All right.
However, he did win 5 states himself and got 46 electors out of it.
What party was that?
That was Wallace. I don't remember the name of his actual party. I won't go into that.
All right. So now you have statistics about Michigan. When is the last time that a Republican candidate won Michigan? What year?
1988.
Ronald Reagan.
No, it was George Bush.
Bush, right, or 88. But before that, Republicans used to win Michigan.
For a little while, yeah. Actually, starting in 72 onward, until Bill Clinton in 92, Michigan actually went to the Republican.
Not to the Democrat, you mean?
Yeah. No, from 72 through 88, Michigan went Republican. But from 92 onward, it's gone Democrat. Is that a change in our voting habits? Does it have something to do with the change in who lives here? There's any number of different factors involved in that. But ultimately, we've been trending for 24 years toward Democrats. I don't see that changing suddenly in the next few weeks.
Now, do you think Gary Johnson have actually a chance to be president of the United States?
A very small one.
Small. So, okay, because most people believe that he is going to be the spoiler.
And see, and I just hate thinking like that.
Okay. Oh,
spoiler, no one owns your vote. There's no given for Republicans and Democrats. A voter needs to vote for who they want. If Hillary wants my vote, convince me. Show me that you believe what I believe. Give me actual reasons other than not Trump. If Donald Trump wants my vote, show me. Convince me. Speak to me on my issues, on my terms, and show me why you're the right candidate for me. Neither one of them can do that. I don't buy into the fear of not Trump, not Clinton.
I just tell you what I see. And the reason, I mean, I'm happy you're here because you're talking about issues, taking informations that the media don't talk about. CNN, I never hear that, CNN or Fox, nobody talk about that, okay? But what I see from the mainstream media, what the media is putting up there is breaking news. Donald Trump, 20 years ago, says this about this lady. 15 years, Donald Trump, breaking news. 30 years ago, Donald Trump says this. Where we see a lot of things of Hillary Clinton, things that actually was recently as a Secretary of State, big, huge mistakes, the emails, Benghazi, and so forth. But that is not breaking news, that nobody talks about it.
Oh yeah, and that has an issue.
A month
with the
ago, we
media
talked about
itself.
her health condition was really bad. Now people not talking about it. Okay?
Oh,
This is
are you
things-
saying that media controls the narrative for the politics?
No, I say no. No, I mean
shocked.
I know, but some people don't pay attention and think it that way. Some people, oh yeah,
They're
of
only
course,
buying
of course.
the
If you
little
put
bit
it
that
that
they're
way,
being
oh
sold.
right, media control
Exactly.
that. You're right, Jose.
It's
You're
framing
right,
the
John.
narrative.
But yeah, I mean it is.
So how is he even going to find out about Gary Johnson if he doesn't even get airtime? How does he get?
Well, he has been. I has been seeing lately. They were really tough. They have really tough questions, which are not the same question for Hillary Clinton.
You know,
She have, to me, when I see an interview with Hillary Clinton, she get the easiest question.
Yeah.
Gary Johnson, Donald Trump get the toughest questions.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, they have to be right. They're running for president of the United States, and they have to expect that and answer that question. But it's not fair with Hillary Clinton. The last debate I saw, because I know you didn't see the debate, right?
I am so opposed to both Trump and Clinton that unless and until they include literally anyone else, I'm not watching any of it.
Well, I have the feeling that Donald Trump was debating Hillary Clinton and the two people that were in the panel. And actually, I was talking with my wife. Where actually, I see it on Facebook and Twitter. A lot of a lot of people in the United States saw the same thing. A lot of people I see tweet. It looks like Donald Trump has been debating Hillary plus the other two people up there. A lot of people have that sensation.
Which I wouldn't mind as badly if they were debating actual things instead of talking about their behaviors. So, I mean, there are far more
no, I
pressing
understand.
things.
Yeah, I know it's a lot more things. So, you supporting Johnson? Give me three things why.
Well,
Don't tell me he's killed. He's not. He
no.
has a nice tie.
He's,
I mean, I want to.
he's a proven fiscal conservative.
Okay.
He wants to lower taxes,
Okay.
actually.
This one, okay.
And he's really, I mean, he is pro-Constitution and understands limits on government.
Okay.
He's best across the board. I mean, he's not a perfect libertarian or a perfect candidate. There won't be a perfect candidate. But he's practically Thomas Jefferson when you compare him to other people, so.
Okay, he's a Thomas Jefferson. Quote for Jonathan Ettinger. He's the new Thomas Jefferson of this era.
Yeah, that's exactly how I'd frame that.
Okay, no, it's fine. I never heard nothing bad about him. I know what's an issue he couldn't answer a few months ago. One question about something, and then another question about name me a foreign. No, give me a favorite president.
Name a foreign leader you admire.
Right.
Most libertarians are going to have a trouble with that because show me a foreign leader that is even remotely in my area that I'm, it's not that simple.
But the second question was, give me somebody from the past. No, well, that's what the question
Well,
was.
how far back do you want to reach for it, quite honestly?
All right.
I mean,
like I said, any name, but I mean, at this time, I agree with you. I mean, what? North Korea, Russia? I mean, those guys are.
But
I'm
at
not
the
fan
same
of those
time,
guys.
I
I got
mean,
what you. I mean,
what's more important? A foreign leader I admire? Or let's talk about what I do about reining in the budget deficit and but what am I going to do about the debt?
before we finish, I mean, I enjoy talking with you, and then when I enjoy a lot talking with people, time flies really quick, and we're in the time.
Yeah, we're about there.
But for people that, as a lot of people are following you on Facebook, you have your Facebook page right there. What's your name? What's the name of the Facebook?
Facebook.com. That's for my first book, or you can reach me on my Twitter if you want to shoot me a tweet. I actually use it sometimes.
Does your contact info will be through Facebook?
Yep, either or.
Okay, if you want to follow Jonathan Ettinger, very smart guy, good political consultant, is right there, his Facebook, and also his book. I really highly recommend you his book. If you want to know more about the constitutions and follow him on Facebook, you will find the latest information about these rates and other questions that he can answer. Well, thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Always nice to see you here.
No, my pleasure.
Thank you. And that is all for today. Thank you, and God bless you.